Good morning and welcome to this month's session of Fifth Breaks with Jess. So this month we are going to be focusing on yoga. So I've compiled a list of about 20 yoga poses that are for beginners, so they're going to be pretty easy to do. Now, as always, before we get started, make sure that this is something that you can do. So have a conversation with your medical provider and always make sure that you have great posture, you're standing up straight, and you're breathing through each one of these exercises. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first pose that we're going to do is called the mountain pose. So what I want you to do is stand with your feet together and all 10 toes on the ground. Engage your core slightly so that your pelvis is in a neutral position. And you're going to tuck your tailbone into your body a little bit. So if you like, you can put your hands kind of behind your back. And we're going to lift up our shoulders and chest and just stretch. So it's going to look a little bit like. We're going to hold each pose for about 10 seconds. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so the next we're going to do is a plank pose. So all you need to do is get down in a sitting position, and we're going to go up on our hands and our toes. Maybe I'll turn sideways so you can see a little bit better. So we're going to ground our hands and our toes into the floor and press down, and we're going to just lift our bodies up so it'll look a little something like this. And we'll hold it for 10 seconds. 7, 8, 10. Good. All right. So the next exercise is called the easy seat. So all you need to do is sit down. We're going to cross our legs in like a crisscross position. Put your palms nicely relaxed on your knees. And lift up your chest and push your shoulder blades back. And we're just going to breathe deeply. If you need to, you can place like a block or a pillow underneath you to help maintain an upright posture. If you have tighter hips or maybe you feel some discomfort in your knees or your back. Other than that, we'll do this for 10 seconds. And 10. Okay, relax. Next is going to be the hero pose. So you're going to get on your knees, and you're going to tuck your feet kind of behind your rear, and just relax your hands on your legs. It's kind of in a kneeling position. So with your torso straight and upright, you can place your blanket under your knees or a pillow for more comfort if you need to. Your knees should be slightly hip distance apart and a little bit wider. Gently push your hips back and sit between your feet. And place your hands on your knees, like I said. And we're just going to keep it straight back, and we'll take in 10 deep breaths again. Okay. The next one we're going to do is called the downward facing dog. So we're going to get in kind of the same position that we were in when we did the plank. So we're going to start on our hands and knees with our hands directly underneath our shoulders. We're going to tuck in our toes and push our hips back up into the air. So when you do this, it's going to feel a little tightness in your rear area, and that's okay. The importance is we're going to help with alignment and make sure that you feel the stretch. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go for about 10 breaths again. And when you're doing this, you want to get your heels as close to the ground as you can. But it's okay if you can't get them all the way down. Okay. The next one is going to be child's pose. So we're going to get in another position, kind of like the hero pose. So we're going to tuck our feet underneath our rears, and we're just going to lean forward with your arms straight out in front of you and stretch out your back. And so only do this to your comfort level, but make sure that you're breathing. So 10 breaths again. Okay. Another way you can do that, if it's a little painful to keep your knees together, you can just spread your knees out a little bit, and then you just stick your rear kind of towards the back and stretch out a little bit. You can kind of push off of the ground with your arms to stretch out your shoulders. Okay, good. So our next exercise is going to be called the high lunge. So all you need to do is we're going to start with our right foot. Place your right foot in front of you and reach your left foot back as far as you can and put your arms straight above your head and just kind of lean into your right leg, and you should feel a nice stretch right in this area. Okay. I'm going to switch and go to the other side. So we're going to have your left leg forward, right leg back, and we're going to lean into that left leg. Good. So next up is called a low lunge. If you can't do this because it is lower to ground, that's completely fine. So what we're going to do is put our right legs forward again and left leg back, but we're going to lean into that right leg. All right, and then slowly get up. And we're going to rotate to the other side, same thing, except your left leg forward and your right leg back. Right. Next we have what's called a warrior one. So again, we're going to start in a slight lunge position. So right leg forward, left leg back, and you're just going to lean into that right leg a little bit, and we're just going to put our hands above our heads and hold it for a count of 10. All right, and then switch to the other side. Okay, good. So we have another warrior pose. This one is called warrior 2. So again, right leg forward, Left leg back, kind of lean into that. And we're just going to hold our arms straight. Okay, we're going to repeat on the other side. Great. So the next is a triangle pose. So all you need to do is we're going to stand probably our legs about hip distance apart. We're going to lean in to our left side, so our right leg should be a little bit more straight. And you're going to put your right hand and try to touch it to your right wrist with your left hand in the air. Okay, and then switch to the other side. Same exact thing, except you're going to have your right hand in the air, left hand reaching towards your left ankle. Righty. The next is tree pose. So if you struggle with balance, this might not be the best thing for you to do. And try to hold on to a chair or something to help you keep your balance a little bit, but I don't think you'll get the same effect. So again, if you struggle, just go ahead and skip this one. So what we're going to do is you're going to fold your hands together in front of you, and we're going to bring up our right legs and hold it to our left knee. All right, now bring your leg down, and then we're going to do the same on the other side, left leg to right knee. Okay. And when you're doing this one, it's really important to remember to keep your core as tight as you can and your posture as good as you can. That will help for your balance, and you won't be kind of swaying as much as you would if you were kind of relaxed. So the next one is going to be called the Baby Cobra. So we're going to get down all fours and kind of lay down on your mat. And all we're going to do is put our hands on the floor, legs flat on the ground, and we're just going to raise up and stretch out your lower back a little bit. Okay, great. Next, we're going to do a locust pose. So it's kind of the same thing. We're going to be down on the floor, and you're going to just raise your arms and your legs. And so it's kind of like a Superman pose, if you know what that is, but reversed. So instead of having our arms forward, we're going to have our arms backwards. We'll hold this for a count of 10. 9 and 10. All right. Next is called a cow pose. So we're going to get down on all fours, and you're just going to kind of let your back, you're going to stick your rear kind of up in the air, and let your back kind of concave itself. So you're going to push your rear and your head kind of up, and your back down. And we'll do this for a count of 10. 10. Great. So now we're going to do a cat pose. So you're going to be in the same position, but rather than kind of concaving your back, instead of doing this, you're going to bring your back up. So you want to round out your back. So we'll do this for 10 seconds again. Okay, good. And just relax. Next is called the corpse pose. So we're just going to lay on our backs. Put your legs straight out, your hands at your side. And this is just to kind of release all the tension out of your body. So we'll hold this for a count of 10. 8, 9, and 10. So now we're going to stand up again. And this is called a chair pose. So you're going to have your feet about hip width apart and just act like you're kind of squatting down into a chair, but we are going to have our hands above our heads. So we'll do this and we'll hold for a count of 10. Okay. If you can't get comfortable in this position on the first try, just kind of wiggle your toes around and make sure you are in a comfortable position. If you try to do that when your balance is not right, you could possibly tip over and have potential of hurting yourself. So make sure that you have a good base before you attempt this. All right, and so the next one is called Half Lord of the Fishes. So all we're going to do is we're going to tuck one leg in to our bodies and wrap the other one around it. And then we're going to twist, putting our elbows on that knee that's wrapped around. And hold for a count of 10. All right, and then switch to the other side. So tuck your right leg in, left leg over, and twist. Good. All right, and then our last position we're going to do today is called the standing half forward bend. So again, we're going to stand up, have a good base, and have your shoulders about hip width apart, and we're just going to lean forward and drop our legs, our hands to our legs, and just let that get a little bit of a stretch in our back and release all of the tension that we've had doing these other exercises. And then slowly roll your shoulders and do one quick shoulder roll. All right, now that is all that we have for today for Fit Bricks with Jess. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the education department and we can definitely help you out with this. And as I said before, make sure that you talk to your medical provider before starting any new kind of activities. Always keep your core engaged, breathe through each exercise. And I kind of went through these pretty quickly. Typically, you would want to hold each exercise for 5 or 10 breaths. I only did it for about 10 seconds, just for the interest of time. But to get a really deep stretch, hold it for about 10 breaths. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Bye.